Hello and welcome to my Jewish heritage exploration through history and dance. Just like many other families who lived in and through the Soviet Union regime, my family doesn't actually know our family history past a few generations because in many cases it was dangerous to pass that kind of information onwards. However, we have inherited a very unique last name which provides clues into our past. My last name is MAGGID, aka a son of a MAGGID or Magi. A MAGGID or a Magi is a traveling Jewish preacher. They are a skilled narrator of stories. Like the Greek sophists, the early Maggidim based their preachings on questions addressed to them by the multitude. They would travel between towns and spread their wisdom. Now, the Christian population would know the title Maggid or Magi from the three wise men, the three Magi who came to Jesus upon his birth. While I was unable to trace our family history past a few generations, there is a unique city with our namesake. You've likely heard of Jericho, an ancient city. Well, I learned that there was a second major city in the same region at the same time called Megiddo. Now, before the land of Israel came into existence in around 1020 BCE, the land known as Levant was already full of rich and important cities. Megiddo's strategic location at the crossing of two military and trade routes gave the city an importance far beyond its size. It controlled a commonly used pass on the trading route between Egypt and Mesopotamia, and it also stood along the northwest-southeast route that connected the Phoenician cities with Jerusalem and the Jordan Valley. I found it absolutely fascinating that when my family emigrated from Ukraine to Israel in 1997, we serendipitously and unknowingly moved to Ramat Yishai, a tiny town 20 kilometers from the ancient city of Megiddo. What are the chances of that? Side note, it is thought that the word Armageddon is derived from Megiddo, since the prefix Ar, which means hill or mountain in Hebrew, hence Ar Megiddo means hill of Megiddo. So that is the proposed location of the final battle between good and evil in certain religions. Since diaspora and migration are such cornerstones of a Jewish person's experience, when I began researching Jewish dance, I discovered that there are many types, each differing in style from different parts of the world. Types of Jewish dance include but are not limited to Yemenite, Hasidic, Klezmer, Mizrahi, Sephardic, Yiddish, and Israeli dance. Here are a few examples. Some dances, such as Yemenite, have a strong emphasis on elaborate hand positions and include hundreds of gestures. Mizrahi dance has a strong emphasis on shoulders. Klezmer dance has an emphasis on rhythmic, percussive movements. I thought it was fascinating when I discovered that there have actually been dance iconographic features found in Megiddo, of all places. However, as I kept researching, I kept finding that many dances in Judaism were circle dances, where participants would dance in a circle around a common point. I asked, why this commonality? The answer lies in religious Judaism Kabbalistic teachings. Scholars write that it is known that creation passed through several eras before settling into the stable and familiar form that is our world. The stage immediately preceding ours is called the circle universe, while ours is the linear world of straight lines and hierarchy. These terms are both technical and metaphorical. The Kabbalah explains that just as creation emerged from the depths of divinity, so it will return there in a single cycle of extension and retraction. This is also suggested by some scientists in a theory called the Big Crunch, which suggests that the universe will indeed collapse on itself. So, after the Messiah comes, we will progress once again to the circle world. So looking towards the future, the circle world is a more evolved and rectified state of consciousness than our present linear reality. In the linear world, everything occupies a unique position along a continuum extending from above to below. Each value imposes a hierarchy that orders the world according to its preferences. The whole point of the era of hierarchy is to create a context of values, inducements, constraints, and coercions that press out the full potential of each soul down to its last drop. Eventually, and hopefully quite soon, we will complete this consuming labor of self-development. All potential will be actualized, all impurities cleansed, all deprivations enriched, and all ignorance eliminated. The distorting veneer of hierarchy will melt away, and behold, we will find ourselves standing in a circle with Hashem, or God, at its center, and we will dance together in holy celebration. So, the significance of the circle. It is explained that in a circle, every point faces the center. Similarly, the righteous will all connect to God and only to Him. And yet, just like the circle's center is set apart from the perimeter, God is ultimately unreachable, distinct from the righteous. And so, there is great significance in that as people move around a circle, each individual takes another's place. This is to prevent the claim that a righteous individual will have limited connection to God, as we do in this world. Rather, the movements in a circle shows that the righteous will connect to God from all sides, all angles, and on every level. In the Torah, there is the tale of Miriam, who organized a circle dance after escaping from the Egyptians through the parting of the Red Sea. Today, Jews all over the world partake in circular dances, and it is clear that dance is an expression of joy, awe, and worship. It will be seen that dancing among the Jews preserved its primitive character, a spontaneous expression of joy rather than an aesthetic pleasure. In both ancient and medieval times, therefore, it consisted of gesticulations, violent leaps and bounds, hopping in a circle, rather than graceful pose and soft rhythmic movements. I learned this Israeli dance in a line. The first move comes from Russia and honors my Slavic ancestry. When you see the grapevine, that move in Israel is actually called mime, or water, in Hebrew. During the turns, you'll notice the raised arms. I wanted a man-made background, and I loved these straight line stairs that resemble an imposing wall to represent the linear world. I first wanted to record in this half-moon rose garden, which I thought would be perfect, but then I found an even better spot. I wanted to dance around this beautiful tree. Since dancing is done in a giant community, I added some mirrors so that I would feel like I'm dancing with others. Mime, water, this grapevine, is so important, water as a concept in Judaism in Israel, because it's a desert and water means life. And so I added a lot of those. And with the mimes, I kept my arms out by my sides to imitate that I would be holding someone else's shoulders and we would be touching as we're going around. I played with a lot of high versus low levels. I really wanted to portray the religiousness of the Israeli dances. I also kept my eyes at the center of the circle at all times. Jews and my family have an ancient history and an ever-evolving story. However, as Jewish dance represents, despite the migrations and hardship, there is an emphasis on sharing joy with your community, focusing on and celebrating the things most important, and moving in an uninhibited way in a structured world towards the future of unity, oneness, and joy. Thank you so much for watching.